I really do believe if Noah Fifita played on one of these, if he wasn't the guy that he is, Kevin, and he took the opportunity after a dream Alamo Bowl winning season in 2023 and said, I'm going to go get the bag because I might not be an NFL player. I'm going to go get the bag and maximize the amount of money I can make at the college level, right? If he did that, I guarantee you he's on this top 25 list. Let's go ahead and take a look at this list, Kevin. Did you put it together here? Yep. We got top 10, top 25, left to right here. Sam Leavitt coming in at number 1. Drew Allar at number 2. And that's where this list comes into question as is. Did anyone watch Drew Allar against Notre Dame?
Drew Aller is not even better than who they have.
No.
Does Drew Aller even make the list?
I mean, I think he makes the list, but he's certainly not better than LaNorris Sellers. You watch LaNorris Sellers play ball, Kevin?
Yes. Yeah. No. Yes. Definitely.
He is ice cold.
Yeah, he is.
Garrett Nussmeier, he has a lot of potential. I think DJ Lagway had a great end of the season. Florida was expected to be horrible, and they ended up being decent. I'm not super high on Carson Beck, but I think he'll have a good season. Cade Klubnik, I think that might be a little low for him. John Mateer coming over from Washington State over to Oklahoma, and then Nico Iamaleava rounding out the top 10.
I think you killed that.
Oh, I did crush that. Listen, bro. Polyculture is Damon's culture. I love that. I love that stuff. But top 25 QBs. That felt a little colonial right there, Kevin. Maybe I need to take that back.
I think you were just showing. You were really just showing appreciation. You were really just saying
more. It's more. I
pronounced his name because I appreciate his culture.
Sure, I said it in a bad way, but really, I just want to be a part of. I respect the culture and I want to be a part of the culture. It's not that I'm not putting my flag in the Polynesian culture. I would like to make that clear.
We'll get back to the list, but I was gonna say, just to defend my co-host here, Polynesian culture is dope, and I was in the office. Really cool. I was in the office the other day saying I don't wish I was anything other than what I am, right? But I'm saying, how cool would it be to look at your homie and be like, "Oh, what up, Oos?"
I was about to say, what if you were a big
Oos?
"Oh,
what up, Oos?"
Yeah, for sure.
That's so cool. Yep. I want to be able to say Oos.
That was exactly where I was going with that. It was literally the Oos part of that was where I was going with it.
Anyway,
so yeah, getting back to this list here, I think the top 10 is I think who the quarterback should be in the top 10 in my opinion. I'm fine with all those names being in the top 10. I think that Drew Allar should be moved down a lot from 2 to maybe
2
8.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, but the problem that I have really comes in this top, the bottom 15 of this top 25, yes. Right? And so we look at this. You got Josh Hoover from TCU, who is a good player. And a lot of all these guys are good players, really. Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt showed a lot this year, right? You got Texas Tech, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State in a stretch there. 4 Big 12 schools from 17 to 20. We've watched a couple of those guys play. Didn't obviously play Iowa State or Baylor this season, but watched Morton, watched Avery Johnson, so we know what they're all about. Then you have Illinois' quarterback, who I admittedly don't know much about, Maeva, who transferred from UNLV to USC and beat out Miller Moss, who is at 24 on the list, who transferred to Louisville. Miller Moss got benched in the middle of the season. Maeva kind of took over for him. And then you got Dylan Raiola, who is 5-star recruit, #1 quarterback in his class at Nebraska.
Noted Patrick Mahomes impersonator.
Yes, and Julian Sayin, who will be the projected starter at Ohio State next year. Here's my issue with this back end of this list, Kevin.
Talk to me.
Lots of inconsistencies, in my opinion, and that's where my problem stems. So I look at the back end of this top 25, and in particular, things that jump out at me. Julian Sayin, if you're going to project him, if that's what we're doing, if we're projecting an Ohio State quarterback to be what maybe his potential is, why is he at 25?
Yeah.
Then he should be higher.
That's actually a good point, Dan. I didn't even think about it like that.
It's either he didn't play, so we're keeping him off the list, right? Mm-hmm. Or you put him higher on the list because he's at Ohio State and you expect him to be really good in a place that has become a quarterback factory. Let's get this guy banned out of the chat, please. That has become a quarterback factory and a guy that, a school that is absolutely a wide receiver factory, right?
Yeah.
So I think that bothers me. I don't understand why he's at 25. It's like either put him higher or don't put him in there at all.
I'm with you, especially with the talent he's going to be around. And if you're okay, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because he is a good quarterback, but I'm just trying to illustrate your point, right? If you want to lay out what next year is going to look like and do it based on that, he should be a lot closer to Sam Leavitt being at 1 than he is at 25, right? Like the players that Julian Sayin is going to be playing with are a lot better. And that's not saying that ASU's team is going to be bad next year. In fact, ASU's roster is going to be good. But my point is, Ohio State roster is drastically different. And if you think that Julian Sayin is only going to produce number 25 quarterback in the nation numbers, then should he really be on the list?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to frame it. I think I'm with you on that. But Damon,
that's kind of where I'm at with him in particular. The other guys that I kind of have problems with are similarly on this back end of this bottom 15 here. You got a guy like Miller Moss who literally lost his job, right? Like he got beat out in the middle of the season because he wasn't playing good enough. And yeah, the stats look a little bit better for a Miller Moss than a Noah Fifita last season. But are we really sitting here and you're going to tell me that if Noah Fifita wasn't at USC that he wouldn't have put up similar stats to what Miller Moss put up last year, and that his like as a transfer he wouldn't? This is where I'm at. If Noah Fifita left Arizona and last season, like him and T-Mac, say they went somewhere else, say they went to Alabama, like they got offered, where's Noah Fifita on this list? Kevin?
And we know that
he's top 10, right? Like
he is. No, I think so. Like I think if that's the case, he is. I'm with you.
Because he has a better season last year, and then he, comes into this year and or even if he sits behind Milroe, right? Last year, he comes into this season, and I think they, everybody's like projecting the last time we saw Noah Fifita play, he threw 30 touchdown passes almost, and missed 5 games of that season, and all we've ever seen is him be like an elite level quarterback. So I think that the schools here play a massive factor in how this ranking comes about. Arizona, obviously, horrible season last season. No one's denying that. Noah Fifita, incredibly disappointing season. I think he'd be the first one to tell you that, put his hand up in the air and say, hey, guys, it wasn't what I wanted, and I didn't play well enough. He wouldn't be pointing fingers. That's what me and Kevin are for. I'm pointing fingers. Worst offensive coaching I have personally ever witnessed in my entire life of any team that I've been a fan of. I'm not putting that on Noah Fifita. I've seen what Noah Fifita looks like in a competent offense, and it is borderline elite. I don't expect necessarily him to get back to that level. I'm not projecting that, but I do have enough confidence in Seth Doege and this new offensive staff and the new vibes around the program and getting in some extra weapons around Noah so that it's not just, first off, tunnel vision on T-Mac, and second off, no one else to fall back on when T-Mac's not open or if he's triple covered, right? So I like the addition of these receivers that they've brought in. I love the addition of the coordinator that they brought in. And I just, I think that by season ends, we're going to be saying Noah Fifita was absolutely a top 25 quarterback in college football.
I totally agree, because the only thing that's changed was last year's offensive coaching, Damon, because when you look at literally everyone who's ever analyzed, broken down, spent time with, coached, or played with Noah Fifita says this guy is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever been around. Receivers say he throws a perfect ball, a catchable ball, a receiver-friendly ball. Coaches say he's a leader. He all the same things about the way he throws the ball that the receivers say, the coaches echo. Yeah. Seth Doege said it on the pod when he joined us. If you haven't seen that interview, go to our YouTube channel and check it out. But he said himself, if Noah Fifita was 3 inches taller, 4 inches taller, whatever, however many inches taller, he's probably the number 1 quarterback in his recruiting class, in the nation, whatever.
Yeah.
And, you can debate if he's actually number 1 all day, whatever. But the point is, he is so well respected. The talent is clearly there. And he was very much so let down by the offensive coaching last year. And again, he was not without fault, like you said. He would say, I had my part in that as well, but it wasn't all on Noah Fifita. And I do expect that next year people are talking about him in a much more complimentary light, Damon. I think that people will kind of, you must have forgot. Noah Fifita, he's very good. He is that guy. And he is very capable of being one of the top 25 quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at his stats here. He threw for almost 3,000 yards, had 18 touchdowns, 12 picks. That pick number is more than you would want. You'd like to see him in the 20 touchdown range. I understand all of that, but I look at other guys on this list, and they're in a similar range statistically to what Noah Fifita put up last season. And so are we judging based off of team performance, or are we judging based off of how good each particular quarterback is, right? Because frankly, and I said it before, we've seen heights from Noah that I would say 15 players on this list have never seen.
Yeah,
I'm maybe even more. So like the ceiling there is we've seen it with our eyes on the field. Like you don't have to project anything. The ceiling there is higher than a lot of those players. Another guy, Jaden Maiyava, and I was calling him Jordan earlier. I apologize for that. Jaden Maiyava threw for 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 6 picks last year. What is different about that than what Noah Fifita did, except for the fact that he did it in less playing time?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Damon.
USC was not good. They were incredibly disappointing. Their offense was not good. Lincoln Riley is like borderline on the hot seat going into this season, similarly to a Brent Brennan, right? And I know that the scale is different there between those two programs, but I just it feels a lot like if Noah Fifita was at a bigger name school or playing in the SEC or playing in the Big Ten, I don't have any doubt that he'd be on this list. I asked the question to our friend Kobe, who's in the chat today, where would he be if he played at Nebraska? If he was putting on Nebraska red and lining up under center in Lincoln in front of 100,000 strong every Saturday, is he missing this list? I'd say absolutely not, because Dylan Raiola is not good, frankly. Like we all watch him play.
Yeah, I mean, he impersonates Patrick Mahomes without any of the actual
He's really good at
production
that.
or big time skills.
Dylan Raiola, less yards, less touchdowns, one less interception than Noah Fifita this past season.
Wow. I mean, look, Damon. When you look at this list, to me, it's clear, and I'll pull it back up one more time just to refresh people's memory here. But to me, it looks like you look at this list, and it's someone or a group of people kind of being like, who are the teams that are going to improve next year? Who are some of the quarterbacks that have big names right now? And it's kind of like a what have you done for me lately kind of a list, right? Like Sam Leavitt being number one. Like you said earlier, is he better than Arch Manning? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, is he?
I certainly wouldn't take him over Arch Manning.
Like, it's arguable, but like, is he better than like John Mateer, Kay Klubnik, DJ Lagway? Like, these are all arguable things that if I don't know, there's no way that you look at this and you don't see Noah Fifita in the second half of this list, right? I think I would take Noah Fifita over Rocco Becht. I would take Noah Fifita over Dylan Raiola. I would take Noah Fifita over Luke Altmaier, certainly. And yeah, it is strange that Noah Fifita is being left off this list simply, it seems, because of the team performance from last season. And it doesn't seem like people are really interested in evaluating him as a quarterback, more so evaluating what the offense did when he was the quarterback.
Yeah, and I tweeted about it, and I had a lot of Arizona fans even that were kind of fired up, telling me like, well, he sucked last season. And I think he would admit that. But I just Kobe says in the chat, this ranking is garbage because multiple guys on this list have never even played on the teams they're currently on. Totally true. And to further that point, like, you look at the teams on the list, like, it feels like they're just trying to engagement farm a little bit.
Yeah.
And I
troll for engagement.
I like On3. Like, I respect what they do over there. But can you pull it up for me real quick, Kevin?
Of course.
Let's look at, like, I'm just looking solely at programs here. They said to themselves, we need to get our Ohio State guy on the list because, as I already mentioned, it makes no sense for him to be at 25. They were like, okay, well, let's get Nebraska's quarterback on here. That'll create some buzz. Let's get USC's quarterback on here. That'll create some buzz.
Let's get the old USC quarterback on here because that will create some crossover buzz.
Yep. Oklahoma. Hey, I know this guy has never played for you guys, but he's going to play. We're going to put him in the top 10 because he's Oklahoma's quarterback. Like, I think that all this stuff is kind of just it's showing you that this is very program based, in my opinion.
Hey, Carson Beck looked awful, and no one thought he was any good. But he's going to Miami now, and that's really cool. So let's put him at the top.
And
of
I
the
think
list.
I think Carson Beck and John Mateer should be higher than Noah Fifita. Like, I'm not arguing that.
No, yeah.
But it's just, I think that a lot of this is program watching. It's logo picking. Like, I feel like it's that simple. I really do believe if Noah Fifita played on one of these, if he wasn't the guy that he is, Kevin, and he took the opportunity after a dream Alamo Bowl winning season in 2023 and said, I'm going to go get the bag. Because I might not be an NFL player. I'm going to go get the bag and maximize the amount of money I can make at the college level, right? If he did that, I guarantee you he's on this top 25 list.
I agree.
So I that's really just where I stand with it. I think it's interesting to talk about. Like, it's fun to talk about. And I understand, I really do understand why he's not on it. I'm not like freaking out about it. I just think personally he should be on it if based off of some of the criteria that they're using on these players, if we're keeping it consistent. And I think furthermore, next season with an improved offensive coaching staff, going from even, this is the thing, Kevin, if we go from F- to C level coaching.
Oh my gosh.
It is a world's
my
different.
Word.
No,
it really is.
We're talking about a different football team last year.
Yeah.
Like like, I think that's where it comes in. Like, if I think it's so important, and people, obviously quarterback is the most important position on the field. I had an ASU fan tell me that when we were in my mentions discussing this, like, because his number one thing was 4-8. And I said, it's a team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. It's more of a team sport than any other sport that we have in this country.
Yeah, that's true.
And on top of that, I think coaching is more important in football than it is in any of these other sports as well. You are literally calling the play.
Yeah.
What you call impacts versus what the other coach calls is going to determine what happens in the play. I think that coaching is so important, and getting just an average coach in place. And I have higher hopes than average for Seth Doege, but an average coach in place will skyrocket this offense and get Noah the respect he deserves. If you guys are watching with our streaming partners, head on over to gophnx.com. Kevin and I are going to round out this quarterback talk. And yeah, Kevin, any thoughts on anything that I just said there?
Damon, I don't want to go for too long on this, because I do agree with a lot of what you said about it. I think you had a good way of going about it, a good angle to take, because when you do look at that list, the logic is flawed, right? And if you go by their flawed logic, Noah Fifita should be on this list.